Hey guys, what if I told you that Anakin had a father, at least in the first rough draft for A New Hope, and his father was actually a cyborg? Now Anakin became more machine than man after Mustafar, but it wasn't always the case. In George Lucas's first rough draft for Star Wars, it was his father and not him. Well, sort of. There was a character named Anakin Starkiller, spelt Annikin, who had a Jedi father named Cain Starkiller. That was more machine than man. Anakin would later be renamed Luke. In this draft, there is an old Jedi general named Luke Skywalker, but the cyborg dad was already present from the beginning, having just left their home after fighting a Sith warrior who killed Anakin's younger brother. The fledgling Jedi and his father are headed to the planet Aquile, which is spelled Aquile, to meet up with this legendary General Skywalker, to aid him in fighting the Empire. When Cain Starkiller and his son Anakin arrive, Cain asks Skywalker to take his son as his Padawan learner. When Skywalker asks why, Cain reveals that his arm and chest are mechanical. There's nothing left but my head and my right arm. I've lost too much, Luke. I'm dying. I'm just going to interject here for a second. Padawan learner was there from the very beginning. Now just let that sink in. Even before he wrote the actual script to Episode 4 in 1977, which came out in 1977, he was writing that far before that in the 70s, Padawan learner was a thing at the very beginning. Now I wonder why Lucas didn't use the term more in the original trilogy, or at least at all. After leaving his son with Luke Skywalker, Cain would head out to meet up with an alien friend of his named Han Solo, but soon, General Skywalker receives word that a giant space fortress is on its way. The general sends Anakin to pick up Princess Leia. At the Academy, Anakin retrieves Leia, but not the handmaidens, one of whom remains as a decoy. Now, we later see Lucas return to the handmaiden decoy in The Phantom Menace. I hope your wheels are starting to turn now in your head, because it's all making sense. Anakin Starkiller, Skywalker, the robots, Captain Whitsun, the two young princes Biggs, Windy, and Leia all get into disguised land speeders. Count Sandage arrives with troopers to prevent them from leaving, but Skywalker cuts him in two. They leave the canyon as the fortress behind them self-destructs to make sure no one can betray them after the fact. The speeders stop on a bluff overlooking a small cantina on the outskirts of Gordon. The others, Princess, Anakin, and the rest, join them. In the slum quarter, they find Cain Starkiller. Whitsun takes the droids into another room to play chess, quote-unquote. Skywalker, Han, and Anakin meet with Datos and the other rebels. They discuss the space fortress, or the Death Star. They will have to flee on a freighter with the two young princes, but in hibernation. To do so, they need an extra energy pack, so Cain rips one from his mechanical chest. "May the force of others be with you," he says, just before dying. So, even here, the cybernetic father sacrifices himself to help his son and his friends, something we know Lucas would use again later on. Though I think he first went back to it for Episode 5 and 6, when he made Darth Vader Luke's father. However, he wasn't originally supposed to be Luke's dad in Episode 4, but we see the themes of father and son sacrifice and redemption. These elements are spread all over the draft, and the subsequent drafts are eventually films. It was just figuring out how to convey them in the most satisfying way that took some million rewrites to figure out. Also, we got hibernation, which would later become carbon freeze. I think it's pretty cool how Lucas wanted to implement all of these ideas into A New Hope, and the ideas are completely different. I mean, Anakin Starkiller, Luke Skywalker being Obi-Wan, and then Anakin having a cyborg father who takes the energy pack out of his chest, sacrificing his life so that his son may live on, and says, "May the force of others be with you." And I mean, that's really the first time we hear that. May the force be with you, may the force of others be with you. These are like the original rough drafts from the 70s. This is really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to make many more like this, covering from these books, the making of Star Wars Episode 4, 5, 6, Episode 1 and 2, and I've covered pretty much all of 3 from that book, years ago. So it's about time I cover the rest of all these. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Throw a like on this one if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.